Lesson 249. Forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. This is part of What is the World? Welcome to the Qigong support for Course in Miracles students. My name is Judith and this is part of the Lucid Mind Center, a virtual mind training site. The reason this is called Qigong support is because after reading and contemplating the lesson together with you, I'm going to guide you to Qigong classes which are specially made for a Course in Miracles student, and especially for this part of the 10-day period led by the thought, what is the world? I'm going to give you more instructions at the end. Let's begin. Lesson 249. Forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. Forgiveness paints a picture of a world where suffering is over, loss becomes impossible, and anger makes no sense. Attack is gone and madness has an end. What suffering is now conceivable? What loss can be sustained? The world becomes a place of joy, abundance, charity, and endless giving. It is now so like to heaven that it quickly is transformed into the light that it reflects. And so the journey which the Son of God began has ended in the light from which he came. And the prayer goes like this: Father, we would return our minds to you. We have betrayed them. We have betrayed our minds, held them in a vice of bitterness, and frightened them with thoughts of violence and death. Now would we rest again in you as you created us. This is absolutely beautiful. So today I was working on the Qigong course, which I'm preparing in Spanish at the moment. I was preparing the presentation, and the presentation was about the Taoist creation story. And as I was explaining it, I realized just how similar it is to what the course is saying and also to what I received when I was doing my channeling writing. And in the Taoism it says that the God created something just like itself, and then that what is created like itself could not be a long time without also creating. And that new thing, which we would say in the Course in Miracles, we would call it the Son of God, that created the dualism, the separation. It created yin and yang. And then from that yin and yang, humanity was created. The third, the reunion of yin and yang was created. So it looks to me as if the Taoism, the Tao, the God, the source, realized that there is a separation, and then to bring that separation back in, created the humanity. It created a way for that separation into yin and yang to come back into union. And this is where the humanity came in. And when humanity was created, the 5 elements were created, which we have in our body. And then from the 5 elements, the million things were created. And all those million things, they're all point us back into yin-yang and back into union, into oneness with God. And it says here that it's forgiveness which is bringing us back. Forgiveness is the key. So it's basically overlooking those millions or thousands of things. It is looking past the negative emotions of those 5 elements, those 5 movements of energy, and returning back past the yin and yang and returning back into union. And this is, according to A Course in Miracles, this is what forgiveness does. It is overlooking and returning back into union. So let's read this again with this idea in mind. Forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. Forgiveness paints a picture of a world where suffering is over because we're returning back to oneness. Loss becomes impossible and anger makes no sense. Attack is gone and madness has an end. What suffering is now conceivable? What loss can be sustained? The world becomes a place of joy, abundance, charity, and endless giving. It is now so like to heaven that it quickly is transformed into the light that it reflects. Just note here, the world is now so like to heaven that it quickly is transformed into the light that it reflects. So the world is reflecting a light. It doesn't have a light of its own. It's we are throwing the light on it. And when we are throwing the right light, the right vision onto the world, it reflects heaven back to us. And so the journey which the Son of God began has ended in the light from which he came. So the journey of the light of God away from the light, because the world is reflecting the light back to him, he now remembers that he is the light from which he came originally. In the Qigong class, I'm going to ask you to read the idea for today's lesson, which is forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. And I'm also going to ask you to read the prayer. Father, we would return our minds to you. This is our choice. This is when we are deciding what we want to do. We have betrayed them, held them in a vice of bitterness, and frightened them with thoughts of violence and death. I just want to point out, this is our minds. Father, we would return our minds to you. In Qigong, we are saying that the body belongs to earth. When the body dies, when it's gone past its usefulness, the body returns back to earth, returns back to nature, and the mind returns back to its source. And here it says it again. Father, we would return our minds to you. We have betrayed them. We have betrayed our minds. We have forgotten that our mind belongs to the universe. We held them in a vice of bitterness and frightened them with thoughts of violence and death. We have betrayed them, held them in a vice of bitterness and frightened them with thoughts of violence and death. Now we rest again in you as you created us. Like I have said several times already, and the way the Course is reminding us, it's about experience. It's not about words. It's not even about thoughts or understanding here anymore. It's about experience. So you keep the book next to you and then go into your Qigong class, either seated or standing meditation, read the idea for the day and read the prayer when I ask you to do so. This 10-day period is almost over. This is the second but last idea. But what we really want to understand within this 10-day period is, what is the world? If you haven't watched What is the World yet with me, I definitely recommend you do so. Here you have got the standing Qigong class. Here you have the seated Qigong class. Up here you have What is the World? And here you have got the whole list of Qigong classes if you would like to do another one. Love, light and Qi to you.